carbon footprints. Um, yeah, carbon footprints and enhancing the sustainability and the restoring the ecosystem. These solutions fall into the energy, transportation, industry, agriculture, and the natural restoration strategies. Right? In that. In that unit 11, we discussed about the renewable energy solutions. Shifting from the fossil fuels to renewable energy resources is critical for a cutting emissions. In that one, we discussed about that the solar energy, a photovoltaic panels convert the sunlight into a electricity. Solar pumps and the rooftops, solar installations, and reduction of the reliance and the coal and gases. These are the two topics which are under the solar energy. And the example is the Tesla Solar City, India's massive solar farms, which is organized by the Tesla Solar City. Next renewable energy sources are the wind energy. The wind turbines generate a clean electricity without emissions. Of course, offshore wind farms have higher efficiency and the space availability. And the examples are the Denmark produce the over a 40% of its electricity to farm as the wind power. And third one is that hydropower. In that hydropower, we are going to discuss about the dams and the small hydro stations provided renewable electricity, a pumped storage hydropower stabilize that energy grids and all. That fourth one is the geothermal energy uses the earth heat for the electricity and that heating. Sustain suitable for the regions with that volcanic activities and all. It is explained that islands and runs almost entirely on the geothermal and hydropower stations. Next one is the green hydrogen. Here, green hydrogen is nothing but the green hydrogen produced from the water using renewable electricity can be used in transportation industries and that power storage also, which we are including in the green energy. Examples for this green hydrogen. It is green hydrogens are Germany's green hydrogen products for the fuel cells. So Germany is the most important and that appreciable country to use that as the green hydrogen. That is the most important thing, and it is a great thing. And coming to the next one, a sustainable transportation. The transportation sector is a major contributor to the carbon emissions. Green mobility solutions aim to reduce the reclaim on the fossil fuels also. Then coming to that next one, what are the sustainable transportations in all is by using the electric vehicles powered by the batteries, eliminating the direct emissions, growing charging infrastructures make them a more practical. A Tesla, a Rivian, and a badly to the EV revolutions and all. And then coming to that next one, public transport and high-speed rails, which are available in our Delhi. Okay, not in Delhi, Japan and all. Bullet trains and Vande Bharat also one of the fastest, speedest train. Expanding the metro systems, electric buses, and that bullet trains reduce the traffic emissions. Yeah, that is the good one. Um, that is including in that Japan, England and the bullet trains run efficiently on that clean energy. Cycling and that walking infrastructures built to dedicate the bike lanes and pedestrian friendly cities. Example, American corporations are the cycling over the cars, and these are the two most important one which are providing good energy and good amount of oxygen to intake when we are walking or cycling. It is a good exercise for your body also. For that small distances, we can prefer that cycling, other walking. That is the best thing to control the emissions and as well as to promote our health. Then next one is the sustainable aviation and the shipping, biofuels and that electric panels for that lower emissions of flights, the wind assisted cargo ships and the cleaner fuels for that maritime transport. Okay, then coming to the next one, the sustainable agriculture and the food systems. Agriculture contribute to the methane and the nitrous oxide emissions. Yeah, right. Due to rearing of that livestock, that is nothing but cows, goats, buffaloes, and all, we can produce that methane. Due to that agricultural burning, the crop rotations did not take place when nitrogen oxide or the emissions are very frequently happening in that our agricultural system. Green solutions focus on reducing deforestation, empowering soil health, and promoting sustainable diets also. Then coming to that first point in that sustainable agriculture and food system, regenerative agriculture. The practices like a crop rotation, no-till farming, and overcropping restore the soil carbon, reduce the fertilizers use, and boost biodiversity. And then precision farming uses AI and LRD sensor to optimize the water and the fertilizer use. Example, smart irrigation reduce and water waste in the drought prone regions. And third one is the alternative proteins and the plant based diet, also the one of the important thing which we are going to follow. Alternative proteins and the plant-based diets, reducing the meat consumption, lower methane emissions from livestock. It is one of the best hope to all the peoples and get converted from non-veg to veg, but that is a not possible thing. But try it. It will give the good results. So the innovations in the lab-grown meat and the plant-based alternatives and all, agroforestry and that vertical farming is also one of the important thing. Combining trees and the crops improve the carbon sequestrations. So that is the best thing. Vertical farming also one of the most important beautiful thing to control that what are the emissions which are emitted from that agricultural farms. Indoor farming with the hydroponics and to reduce the land and water use. That is also a best thing in that summer and where the particular areas can suffer with water scarcity. This hydroponics and as well as that uh, or drip irrigation systems are the very useful in that particular area. For example, Kadapa region in Andhra Pradesh and what are the scarcity regions which are present surrounding in areas. And fourth one is the circular economy and that waste reductions, waste contribution to the landfill, methane emissions and pollutions. And the circular economy focus on reducing and recycling and the materials also. Zero waste manufacturing, uh, the companies design product for the durability and recyclability. Pentagonian, sustainable clothing and the repair of programs, plastic alternatives, biodegradable materials, replace a single-use plastics. Companies like Natpola and create that sewage backfill. That is a good thing. Next one is the composting and biogas generations. Mm, Composting and biogas generation, reforestation and that afforestation, the large scale tree planting projects absorb carbon dioxide. Example, the Great Green Wall in Africa mm, combats deforestation. So not a deforestation, it is a desertification. Wetland and the petland restoration. Petlands are the stores more the carbon per hectare than the forest. Protecting wetlands prevent the biodiversity loss and that has the carbon release as well as. Mm. Then next one is the ocean protection and well as the blue carbon mangroves, sea grasses and keep cleft forest stored a massive amount of carbon dioxide. Example, Costa Rica restored its the mangrove to protect its coastal line and absorb that carbon. Smart cities, green buildings, energy effective buildings as well as the smart grids, energy storages and urban green spaces, urban green spaces and all. And then coming to that last one, that is nothing but the policy and that economic incentives. The government policies and the financial mechanisms drive a large scale climate action. The carbon pricing and emissions trading, the carbon taxes make a polluting the industries pay for their emissions. That is a good thing. Example, the EU emissions and the trading system. The trading system is also known as that ETS. Subsides for the green technologies, government fund renewable energies and the sustainable business also. The Inflation and Reduction Act in that US program promotes that as a clean energy. The international climate agreements, the Paris Agreement aims to limit the global warming up to 1.5 degrees centigrade, and the countries committed to national determined their contributions are NDCs. NDCS. What is NDCS means? The countries come back to a nationally determined contributions, nationally determined that contributions and all. Then coming to the conclusion, the fighting climate change requires a mix of a renewable energy and the sustainable transport and that green agriculture, waste reduction, ecosystem restoration, smart and urban planning, as well as that a strong policies. These are the conclusions of this first topic. And the next one, coming to that next one, already we discussed in that last week. Just it is a overlook. What are the topics we come already completed in the previous classes? Why? Because these are the weekly classes. After 5 days or 6 days only we can revise. That's why I'm going to revise the each and every subtopic continuously in that every class. In that unit 12 we discuss about that causes of climate change in India. In that first one is the greenhouse emissions. India is the third largest emitter of carbon dioxide, mainly due to the coal based power plants, industries and transportations. And major sources: energy sector 75, coal fired and power plants industries, agricultural 14%, and say transport 8%, and the waste management is the 3% can release that carbon dioxide into that atmosphere. Deforestation and land use changes, rapid urbanization and infrastructure development have reduced forest and the wetlands, which act as a carbon sinks. Illegal logging and that mining and that road expansion version in that impact. uh, Coming to the third point, which are including in this one, that is nothing but the industrialization and air pollution. Mm, the high pollution from industries and that the thermal power plants increased carbon emissions, sulfur emissions, as well as the nitrous compound emissions. At Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta among the worst affected cities by the air pollutions. Uh, the next one is the agricultural practices. What are the agricultural practices can affect the environment? Okay. So agricultural practices and overuse of fertilizer release the nitrous oxide, a potent greenhouse gas. Crop burning in Punjab and Haryana leads to the high combustion emissions. Yes, in that what is that fresh news about that Punjab and Haryana means? What was happened there? Um, what in the Punjab and Haryana, the in some areas the people can suffer with the hair fall problems a lot. So they don't know what reason the hair fall will happen. Some people lost their total hair. They come in that bald head, and for ladies and for women, it is a uh, very big problem to face everything. When the hair is the most important, right? The hair falling is a important thing for some particular area in the Punjab and Haryana. They are facing the hair fall problem continuously for the 1.5 year or 2 years. There is no hair on their heads. So some ladies also get that bald head completely, as well as the men's also. So they are going to approach the government, and what is the cause of this one? The government is going to focus on that particular issue on that particular area. Finally, they concluded that that is nothing but what are the fertilizers and what are the chemicals and what are the crop burning, what are the crop burning, agricultural crop burning in that particular agricultural fields, the crop burning emissions, and what are the fertilizer emission, what are the fertilizer compounds and pesticides compound which is present on the surface of the soil that can be reacted with that what are that black coal which is present after the burning of the crop residues, they can be reacted and produce some new chemicals that can directly enter into the water bodies which are present in the surrounding of the Punjab and Haryana regions, where this particular people can suffer with that hair fall problem. The water can be consumed by that people, as well as they are going to use that particular water there for their head bath and all the things. That's why the hair fall will problem will be raised. This is the main reason. This is a new issue due to that emissions of that all the things. Haryana is directly faced the problem. It is a very new issue. That's why kindly follow that what are the rules and regulations of the government, uh, and what are the policies for that environmental pollution and that water pollution, what is that global pollution and all. Then coming to the next one, impact of climate change in India. Rising in temperatures and heat waves. Yes, in the present situation, the temperatures are very high when compared to the previous 1 month or previous 1 month 15 days. Means now the temperatures are up to 39 to 35 to 40, between the 35 to 40 degrees centigrades in Hyderabad also. But the night temperatures are very low. In that night, we are going to feel that maybe that is a winter. In the morning, we are going to feel already this is a summer. This is a hot summer. Actually, we don't know what is the season name. Why? Because in the morning session, we are going to feel that very hot. In the evening, we are going to feel that very cold. Means that is what new seasonal changes we are observed continuously in the present situation also due to that global warming and all. Then come back to the next one, impact of climate change in India, rising the temperature, heat waves. In India, average temperature a rise between 0.7 degrees between 1901 to 2018, and is projected by rise of 0.4, not by 4.4 degrees centigrade by 2100. Though more frequent heat waves in Delhi, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Maharashtra, we have what are the areas which are nearby the particular Sahara Desert and all, they are going to face that high temperatures. Example, the in the 2022 heat wave saw temperature reaching 50 degrees centigrade in part of the Rajasthan. Wow, that's a very bad thing. The next one is the erratic rainfall and the flooding. Uneven monsoons cause the droughts in some regions and the floods in other places. That example in 2018, Kerala floods, the heavy rainfall, uh, Kerala floods. Kerala floods, the heavy rainfall was a displaced 1.4 million people. And in 2020, Assam floods over 5 million people affected, and glaciers melting and rising that sea level. The Himalayan glaciers are melting the fastest, increasing the risk of flash floods, and that water scarcity in North India. Rising sea levels threaten that Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, and the coastal villages in Odisha and Bengal also. Next one is the example of example is the Sundarbans, which is located in that West Bengal. Why that place is called as the Sundarbans forest means that place is located with the number of Sundarban trains. That way, the place is called as the Sundarbans is losing land due to the rising of the water levels. Yes, droughts and that water supply. Frequent droughts in that Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and that Rajasthan. Groundwater depletion due to the excessive irrigation and that urban expansions. Example, Matwada and Maharashtra faces a severe water crisis almost every summer. Not only in the Maharashtra, in Hyderabad, in Telangana, in Andhra Pradesh, some areas also faces the severe water crisis almost all the summer. Not only in the summer, but in the total summer season. Impact on agriculture and the food security. Unpredictable monsoon impact the rice and that wheat and that pulses production. Rising the temperatures reduce the crop yields and increasing the pest attacks. Example, Uh, Haryana, India's football are struggling with the changing of the rainfall patterns. Yes. Uh, Then coming to the next one, cyclones and that extreme weather. The warmer ocean temperatures have increased the cyclone intensity in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. Uh, in that Arabian Sea, example cyclone Amphan 2020 caused the 13 million in damage. Cyclone Hector 2021 strongest to strong in the Arabian society. Then health issues, air pollution related disease, asthma, lung infections are increasing in especially in the Delhi and northern India. Not only in the Delhi, now Hyderabad, in Mumbai, and what are the metropolitan cities? Greater Hyderabad, okay, metropolitan cities. Um, the people can suffer with that air pollutions and that what are the related disease of the air pollution also. Vector borne diseases, dengue, malaria are spreading due to that warmer climates. Then coming that government policies and innovatives, national action plan on climate change, national solar mission, national mission on enhanced energy efficiency, national mission on sustainable agriculture, national water mission, national mission on the Himalayan ecosystem, national mission on green India, national mission on sustainable habitat, and national wind solar hybrid policies. And next one is that renewable energy resources. In that one, the International Solar Alliance, Karnool, Badra Solar Parks, electric vehicles, and the green mobility. Afforestation and reforestation is one of the most important thing. That next one is the water conservation programs, Jala Shakti Abhiyan, and a Namami Ganga program also included in this one. Then coming to the fourth one, the green solutions for the climate resilience of in India, renewable energy resources, sustainable agriculture, urban climate resilience, coastal and the flood protections, community-based adaptation and all. Then coming to the conclusion of this chapter, the climate change is one of the biggest challenges for India, yes, affecting the agriculture, water resources, health, and the biodiversity. Right. While the government has taken a significant step in the renewable energy source, afforestation, and pollution control, more action is needed. Yes, it is a more actions and more effortness is needed to control that all the emissions. Solutions lie lie in a mix of a clean energy transmission, sustainable agriculture, a smarter urban planning, community leader conservation efforts and all. Then coming to that class, today's class, this that is nothing but unit 13. That is unit 13, which is including under that block 3. The topic name is climate change and its impact on agriculture, right? How that particular climate can be changed. So how that already we discussed how the climate can be changed, what are the reasons, how it can be affect to the human health, and how it what are the policies, how the government can be reacted, all the things just now we recalled. Then in this today's class uh, we are going to discuss about that impact on agriculture, how that particular changes in climate can impact on agriculture. Okay, then climate change is significantly affecting the agriculture worldwide. Okay, yes. Influencing the crop protection, livestock, health, soil conditions, and that water availability. These changes can threaten as the food security and that disturb the farming communities and disturb that farming communities. Effect of climate change on the agriculture. Okay, rising the temperatures, the increasing heat stress reduce the crop yields, yes. So it is the unknown fact. It is a known fact of each and every people who are having the minimum idea on that particular agriculture. When the temperatures will be increased, the crop yield will be decreased. Example, wheat production, rice production, and maize are particularly sensitive to the heat. Okay, that's why the maize crops will be yielded in the month of the January. January to what are the winter seasons that are the favorable conditions for that maize. In that time only we can enjoy that maize, the taste of the maize and proteins. That is a very good food. It is a rich in the fiber and proteins. That is a very good food for the weight loss people who thought that they lose their weight. Okay. Then next one alters growing the seasons, leading to a lower productivity, crop failure, lower productivity and that crop failure. Heat stress affect the livestock, reducing the milk and the meat production. That's why in today we are in this situation. Each and everything is that it was polluted only. Chemical milks. Chemical meat that is not a meat, artificial meat will be there, artificial rice will be there, artificial eggs will be there. So everything is the artificial, everything is the man-made, but our body is a not man-made thing, right? Now that's why we are going to save our body and stop to take the uh, intake as a food. What are the polluted products which are present around us. Next one is the change in rainfall patterns. Unpredictable rainfalls lead to the droughts and floods, yes, damaging crops and soil, water shortages, reducing irrigation availability, excessive rainfall causes soil erosion and a nutrient leaching, right? The extreme weather events, the hurricanes, storms, and that wildfires destroy the crops and that farming infrastructure. The high frequency droughts and that floods disturb the food production, not the flood production. That is the food production. Increased pest and the diseases. The warmer climates is the favorable condition for the some pest and the plant diseases, leading to the a greater crop losses, expanding habitat ranges of insects like a locust and that amphibians impact food security and all. Right. The next one is the soil degradation. The higher temperatures, speed as a soil degradation and the desertification, increased salinity due to rising the sea level, effects of the coastal farmland and all. Then coming to that next one, livestock changes, heat, stress reduces the fertility and that milk production in animals. Not only in the animals, the humans, the what are the females. Females also faced that infertility problem due to the lot of stress and heat, and the production of the milk in that particular mothers also it can be very low. Why? Because they are going to take that a processed food and chemical food and artificial foods. That's why the natural production of the milk in that mother body cannot support the production of the milk as per as natural. Okay, even the mother milk also can pounded the some plastic residues in that mother milk also. So that much of plastic intake will takes place, and the plastic will manipulate our body day by day and each and every second. That's why be careful while you are eating and drinking. But while you are for the eating and the drinking, we can only use that steel plates and pingani plates. Otherwise, that mitti plates also is a very important for the drinking purpose. We are going to use the steel glasses, glass glasses, and all for that better health and for that future generations also. Changing pasture conditions affecting that grazing the animals. The next one is the adaptation strategies for that agriculture. What are the adaptation strategies for the agriculture? Developing drought resistant, flood resistance, and the heat tolerant crop varieties. You have to produce that drought resistance, flood resistance, and the heat tolerant crop varieties. And using generally modified crops, to withstand the extreme weather. Improve the water management, effective irrigation techniques, drip irrigation, rainwater harvesting, restoring watersheds, and the promoting agroforestry. And the next one is that a soil conservation practices. So then a crop rotations and the cover cropping, maintain the soil fertility, reduce the tillage, and the organic farming methods to prevent the erosions. Then next one is the Diversification of crops and the livestock, growing a mix of crops to reduce the deficiency on single type, introducing the climate resilient livestock breeds, technological innovations, precision farming using the AI and the satellite data for a effective resources use, climate forecasting tools to help the farmers plan better. Mm, the next one is sustainable farming policies, a government subsidies for the climate resistance farming practices, promoting the carbon sequestrations technologies to reduce the greenhouse gases emission and all. Then coming to that next one, global, um, what is that? Where I am. Yeah, global efforts and that policies. Paris Agreement reduce the greenhouse gas emissions to mitigate climate change. Paris Agreement. The next one is the Sustainable Development Goals, targeting zero hunger and that climate action. Next one is the agroecology and organic farming, encouraging the sustainable agricultural practices and all. And these are about that. The next one coming to that future changes and considerations. Balancing food security with environmental conservation, uh, educating farmers on climate adaptations and strategies, investing in the research for more resilient crops and that farming technologies. These are the topics which are including under that unit 13, I think. Yes. Unit 13, Block 3. Can I repeat the things once more? Why? Because this is the new topic. Each and everything is the new topic. That's why uh, coming to that one, again explaining this one. Climate change, that it is a overall review. Climate change and its impact on agriculture. Climate change is a significant affecting agriculture worldwide, influencing crop production, livestock health, soil condition, water availability. These changes can threaten that food security and that distribute the farming communities. Effect on the climate change on agriculture, rising temperatures, increased heat stress, and reduced the crop yields. Wheat, rice, and the maize are particularly sensitive. Mm, Alter growing seasons, leading to a lower productivity or the crop failures. Heat stress affect that livestock, reducing milk and that meat productions. Changing in rainfall patterns, unpredictable rainfall leads to the droughts and the floods, damaging the crops and the soil, water storages and reduce the irrigation availability, excessive rainfall causing that soil erosion and that nutrient leaching. Mm, Nutrient leaching here means they washed out of the all the nutrients. That is nothing but the nutrient leaching. The extreme weather events, the hurricanes, storms, and that the wildfires destroy the crops and the farming infrastructure, higher frequency of a droughts and that flood dispute of the fruit production, warmer climates and warmer climates are the favorable for the some kinds of pest and the plant diseases leading to a great crop losses. Uh, Expanding habitat ranges of insects like vectors and aphids impact the food security, soil degradation, high temperatures speed up the soil degradation and the desertification. And desertification is the farmland can convert into desert. What is the process which here takes place that is known as the desertification. Increase the salinity due to the rising of the sea level affecting of the coastal farmland. Livestock changes. That heat stress reduce the fertility and that milk production in animals. Changing by pasture conditions and affecting that affect the grazing in that animal. Adaptation strategies for agriculture in the climate resilient crops are developing droughts and the resistant flood resistance and the heat tolerant crop varieties, using a genetically modified crops to withstand that extreme weather, improved water management, effective irrigation techniques, drip irrigation and rainwater harvesting, restoring the watersheds, along with that promoting of the agroforestry and all. Then coming to the next one, the soil conservation practices, crop rotation and cover cropping to maintain the soil fertility, reduce the tillage and that organic farming methods to prevent the erosions. To prevent that erosions. Diversification of a crops and that livestock, growing the mix of crops to reduce the dependency on a single type, introducing the climate resilient and livestock breeds. Technological innovations means precision farming using the AI and that satellite data for effective resource uses, climate of climate forecasting tools to help the farmers for the better planning of the crops. Mm, Sustainable farming policies, government subsidies for the climate resistant farming practices, promoting carbon sequestration technologies and reduce the greenhouse emissions. Then coming to that next one, global effects and that policies. Paris Agreement reducing the greenhouse gas emissions to mitigate that climate change, a sustainable development goals, also called as the SDGs, targeting a zero hunger and that climate action, agroecology, organic farming, encouraging sustainable agricultural practices. Then coming to the last conclusions, balancing food security with that environmental conservation, educating farmers on climate adoption strategies, investigating investing in research for more resilient crops and that farming technologies and all. Then coming to that next block, that is including that acid rain. Here, first one we are going to know the what is that acid rain. Okay. What is that acid rain refers to the precipitation. It is a precipitation, rain, snow, fog or dust that contain a high level of a acidic components. Primarily, a sulfuric acid is nothing but H2SO4, nitric acid HNO3. It is caused by the release of sulfur dioxide. It is caused by the release of the sulfur dioxide and that nitrogen into the atmosphere, which react with the water, oxygen, and other chemicals to form the acids. This is the a clear-cut explanation of the what is acid rain. Okay, shall I repeat once again? Acid rain refers to precipitation, rain, snow, fog, and dust that contains high level of acidic components, primarily sulfuric acid H2SO4 and that nitric acid HNO3, and it is caused by the release of a sulfur dioxide and that nitrogen oxides into the atmosphere, which react with the water, oxygen, and other chemicals to form the acids. This is the clear-cut explanation of the acid rain. Then coming to that, what are the causes of the acid rain? So what are the causes of the acid rains means some natural causes are there, some human activities also can cause the acid rains. So what are the natural causes means the volcanic eruptions release a large amount of sulfur into the atmosphere. This is the most important thing. Then coming to the lightning produce the nitrous oxide. So it is a mainly happened in the rainy season. Next one, decaying vegetation and that wildfire. So what are the wildfires and the decaying of that vegetation can emit the sulfur compounds and the nitrogen compounds naturally into our atmosphere. These are the natural resources of resources for the cause of the acid rain. Then coming to the next one, human activities, a primary cause. The burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, and the gas combustion in power plants and that vehicles also. Then next one is the industrial emissions. The factories and the refineries release a large amount of sulfur and nitrogen compounds. Vehicle exhausts, automobiles, and the aircraft contribute to nitrogen oxide emissions. Shall I repeat once again? Human activities are the primary causes of the acid rains. In that first one is the burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, and the gas combustion in power plants by vehicles, the industrial emissions, factories, and the refineries release a large amount of sulfur and nitrogen compounds. Vehicle exhausts, automobiles, and that aircraft contribute to the nitrogen oxide emissions all. Then coming to the third one, that is nothing but effects of acid rain. Environmental effects. So first one is that in that first one is soil degradation. First one is that as that a soil degradation. Segregation. Acidic rain depletes essential nutrients and harming the plant growth also. Harming that a plant growth also. Then next one is the water pollution. Acidic lakes and the rivers kill the fish and the water the remaining and coral life which is present in that water. Uh, then coming to the next one, forest damage, weaken trees by removing the nutrients from the soil. Then next one is the ecosystem disruption, means harms a wildlife and reduces the biodiversity. Okay, one more time, the environmental effects. What are the environmental effects of the acid rain means? First one is the soil degradation. Acid rain depletes essential nutrients, uh, harming plant growth. Water pollution, acidic lakes and that rivers kill what are the fishes and what are the aquatic life and what are the coral life which will be present, and the particular aquatic system will be damaged due to the effect of the acid rains. Then next one is the forest damage. We can weaken trees by removing the nutrients from the soil. Ecosystem destructions harm wildlife and it reduce that biodiversity. Then coming to the next one, impact on human health. Respiratory problems. Sulfurs and the nitrogen contribute to asthma, bronchitis, and that lung diseases. Contaminated drinking water, acid rain can leach the toxic metals like mercury and lead into our water resources. When that particular heavy metals can consumpted or it may be by fault can enter into human digestive system, it will give the adverse health effects to the human, right? That's why be careful. Then can once again I read it. Impact on human health, respiratory problems, sulfur and nitrogens contribute the asthma and bronchitis and that lung diseases also. Contaminated drinking water, acid rain can leach the toxic metals like mercury and leads to the water sources. Then coming to the third one, damage to the infrastructure and that economy. How that particular acid rains can damage the infrastructures and how it will affect the economy. Now we discussed. Okay. Corrosion of buildings and that monuments. Acid rain erodes that limestone, marble, and that metal structures. It can react with the what are the chemical compounds and what are the carbon compounds which are present in that limestone, marble, and metal. It can react with the what are the compounds which are present in the acid, and it give the take the reactions take place, and it give the a result a chemical that can affect that particular monument and all. The next one, reduced crop yields affect agriculture by lowering the soil quality. Then coming to that next one, solutions of that acid rain. What are the solutions of that acid rain? Reducing the emissions. Can you reducing the emissions? Switch to the clean energy. Use the renewable energy sources like wind, solar, and hydropowers. Scrubbers in power plants install. What are the scrubbers? How it will be work? What is the picture? What is the picture of the scrubbers? All the things which are discussed in that air pollution class. In that class also, in that class, I can explain with the diagrams what is the scrubber, what are the important parts, and what how it will be work. All the things I will explain in that air pollution class, where scrubbers and the dry scrubbers also, how it is useful and all. Scrubbers in the power plants install a fuel a glass desulfurization system and removes the sulfur. Catalytic converts in vehicles, reduce the nitrogen emissions from cars and all. Then coming to the next one, government policies and the regulations, emission standards, low to limit industrial SO2 and that NOx, so means NOx nitrogen emissions, crop cap and trade programs. What is that? Cap and the trade program encouraging the industries to reduce the emissions. That is, that particular program is called that cap and the trade programs. Then coming to that next one, public awareness and lifestyle changes, energy conservation, using energy efficient appliances, reduce the fossil fuel consumption, reduce the car usage, promote a public transport, cycling, and that electric vehicles, use of a limestone treatments, neutralizing the acidic water bodies, with neutralizing the acidic water bodies with that limestone. And next one is that what are the global effects? What are the global effects of the compact acid rain? Clean Air Act USA reduce that sulfur and nitrogen emissions significantly. International agreements, countries working together to reduce that cross-border pollutions, technology innovations, development of green energy solutions, development of the green energy solutions. Then coming to that conclusion of this acid rain. Acid rain is a serious environmental issue that damage ecosystems, human health, and that infrastructure. However, with the strict regulations, clean energy sources, and that public awareness, its effect can be reduced. Okay, this can be the conclusion of this one. Then coming to the pictorial explanations. This is that formation of that acid rain. Just wait, I want to adjust the picture. Mm. Just wait. How the acid rain formations will takes place. This is the pictorial representation about that one. First one is the first we are going to discuss that what are the sources. Okay. Okay. First one we are going to discuss the what are the sources. So these are the sources. What are the sources of the acid rains? First one is the volatile organic compounds. What is that? VOC means So volatile organic compounds. So everyone is know, but for that who knew for this class, today's class, that's why I'm explaining. Volatile organic compounds, these are the sulfur compounds took place. So volatile organic compounds took place at first one, and second one is the sulfur compounds, and third one is the nitrogenous compounds, and fourth one is the heavy metal. Due to that anthropogenic activities means what are the activities which can be played by that humans to improve their technologies, to improve the quality of the life. They emitted that volcanic VOCs, that is volatile organic compounds, sulfur compound, nitrogen compounds, and heavy metals into our environment. Then these are directly enters and the gaseous pollutions in the atmosphere. It can react with the pollutants which are present in that atmosphere. The particulate pollutants in that atmosphere also can react. So volatile organic compounds and the nitrogen oxides are that as a naturally causing that can add that acidic effect to the environment, and but it is up to only 2 to 3%. The remaining total percentage due to that human activities, dry deposition, the gaseous pollutants in that atmospheres and the particulate pollutants in that atmosphere also is present. The pollutants in cloud, water, and that precipitates, the water can precipitate and form that acid rains, and these are the receptors again that what are the plants and what are the animals, what we are the present on the earth, it can be affected. And first of all, what are the, so who can produce that acids into the atmosphere, they only receive that one and they only affected, and this is the formation of the acid rains. Then coming to that next one. Health effects of a pollution. So how that acid rains and how that air pollution and how that water pollution, how that soil contaminations can affect the human lives. This is the a grammatical representation, how that particular pollutants can affect, right? First one, in that one, first one is that air pollutions. This is the first one. And second one is that water pollution. And third one is the soil contaminations. Soil contaminations. How it will be affect? First one is the air pollution. So due to that air pollution, first one, the nervous system will be affected. Nervous system, the nerve damage lead to the a nerve damage. Okay. Then due to that, next one particulate matter and all respiratory illness will be there in the particulate matter as well as the water, the ozone which is present in our atmosphere that can directly enter into our lungs as well as the respiratory system. As all of us know, from the starting class onwards, I'm going to repeat this one so many times. The particulate matter is between 2.5 to 10. PM is between 2.5 to 10. It can affect our respiratory. It can affect our the respiratory health. It can directly enter into our lungs. What are the nostrils, and it cannot actually our nostril having the small hairs in that nostrils. The small hairs can play a very crucial role. What are the pollutants and what are the dust particles we are unknowingly inhaled? Then what will happen? What are the air-like growth structures which are present in that nostril that can be captured by that hairs? And what are the moisture which is present in your nostrils? All the pollutants and what are the dust particles? What are the unwanted particles? Can be stopped there at the nostrils only. Only the pure air can be entered into our lungs. This is that a natural process designed by our God. Okay, but the particulate matter is between 2.5 to 10 that cannot catched by any moisture, and what are the hairs which are present in the nostril that not at all work, that are directly entered into our respiratory system, and it will affect the lungs health. And what are the capacity of the taking oxygen? What is the intaking capacity of the lungs to take the oxygen? It's a normally it's to each and every adult human being wants 5 liters of oxygen for your daily lifestyle, for the healthy life. But due to that air pollutions and what is that all the things, the capacity of the lung, oxygen capacity of the lungs will be decreased due to that air pollutions, due to that particular particulate matter. What are that ozone compounds? What are that carbon compounds? What are that volatile organic compounds? What are the sulfur compounds? And what are the nitrogenous compounds which are present in our air can decrease in the capacity to intake of the oxygen into our lungs. That's why the nerve damage will happen. Then next third one is that volatile organic compounds, sulfur and nitrogenous compounds also. Nerve damage, and as well as that headache and that vertigo. And the headache can leads to a many serious issues will be there when that, but for example, we can suffer with that any headache problems. You do not concentrate on anything, and all. Vertigo is nothing, nausea and vertigo and all the things will happen due to that air pollution and all. Then coming to that water pollution, how that water pollution can affect water. Due to that water pollutions, the heavy metals, chemicals, bacterias, bacterias and that parasites and that chemicals are entered into that respiratory systems. It can affect that the gastrointestinal problems. It can increase that cancer risk, nausea, skin irritation, cardiovascular illness. So in nowadays, the cardiovascular illness are that a very common thing for each and every human beings from 10 years old kid to 65 years old men. The cardiac issues are very common due to that heavy polluted in air and that water and that soil. What are the intakes daily we are going to take? That can affect our cardiac vascular illness and all. Then third one is that soil contaminations. That's due to that particular pesticides can directly enter into our food chain that can leads to the again gastrointestinal cancer risk, nausea, skin irritations, kidney failures, and pancreas productions. It can damage the what are the secretions of our glands, pancreatic productions. When the pancreas cannot able to produce that sufficient amount of insulin, then what will happen? The person will suffer with the diabetic problems. If the diabetic once it affect that human, it cannot go away till that our last breath. So for that one, we are going to practice all the exercises and food habitats. These are the health effects of the pollutions. See here in this picture, cattle rearing, industrializations, agriculture, everything, water pollutions, air pollutions and all, right? Then coming to the next one, where it is how that particular acid rains can show the adverse effect on that particular humans as well as the plants also. Okay, chemicals. Here, I think this picture is not clear, but here I am going to explain acid rains. So, uh, how that particular acid rains will happen, that particular acid rain can come and deposit the some chemicals and it can increase the pH of the groundwater as well as the soil. Then what will happen? What are the chemicals? What are the nitrogen compounds which are present in that soil naturally? It can react with that environmental nitrogens. Then the soil will be converted into the acidic. The pH levels of the soil can be increased. The pH levels of the soil can be increased. The pH levels of the soil can be increased. Then what will happen? The intaking of the nutrients of the soil, the capacity of the nutrients of the soil can be decreased due to that high pH of the soil. This process is called as that the nutrient leaching. Nutrient leaching means what are the nutrients and what are the good compounds which are present in that soil cannot present at all due to that acid rain effects. These are all are in inactive in stage. then what will happen? The soil can lose that fertility, and what are the nutrients which are present in that soil, that all are taken by that acid quantity. Then the plants get weakened, the roots get weakened, and what are the fruits and what are the leaves and what are the each and every a part of the plant can be affected. The process of the photosynthesis also can be affected. Then finally the production of the crops will be affected. Food security will be affected. Now we are directly or indirectly depending on that plants for our survival. That's why the plants are called as the primary producers. When that acid rain will come, then what will happen? It can be reduced the soil fertility, crop production and all, that can damage our environment and food security system also. Okay. Yeah. Why I am circle all the things with red color means these are the possibilities, and this is the way the particular chemicals can react with the plants from root to shoot system. That's why I mentioned that red color circle. That's why I mentioned that a red color circle, it may affect the, what is this? Yeah, it may affect that a particular things, right? Shall I erase it? Actually, this picture is not clear. Then already we know what is that acid rain. From last 45 minutes, we are in the topic only. How that particular acid rain can affect our monuments means here just I draw it a line on this picture. This is that before that acid rains, this is that after that acid rains. Before the acid rains. After the acid rains. So, how that monuments can lose their originality and the beauty means, and this is that original Taj Mahal color and the beauty of the particular monument. But in present situation, the color will be changed and it will be like that, like this. Why? Because the due to that chemical reactions, when that particular acid rain, some chemical sulfur compounds, volatile organic compounds, and all can reach It can react with that what are the chemical compounds which are present on that monuments. It can change the color of the marble and all. That's why the changes will happen. This is all about that what is the acid rain and all, right? Wait. This is about that acid rain and all. Okay. Once again, I want to repeat this one. What is acid rain? Acid rain refers to the precipitation, rain, snow, fog, dust that contains the high level of acidic components, primarily sulfuric acid, H2SO4, nitric acid, HNO3. It is caused by the releasing of sulfur dioxide and nitrogenous oxide into that atmosphere, which react with the water, oxygen, and other chemicals to form the acids. Then next is that cause of it acid rain and natural sources, volatile volcanic eruptions release a large amount of sulfur compounds into the atmosphere. Lightnings, it mostly happen in the rainy season, produce nitrogen oxides, decaying vegetation and wildfires emit SO2 and NOx naturally. Human activities are the primary causes. Burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas, combustion in power plants, in vehicles, industrial emissions, factories, and the refineries they release a large amount of sulfur as well as the nitrous compounds. Vehicle exhausted, automobiles, and aircrafted continue to the nitrogen oxide emissions. That is the effect of the acid rains. Environmental effects, soil degradation, acid rain depletes that essential nutrients, harming the plant growth, water pollution, acidic lakes, and that rivers kill fish and that aquatic life. Forest damage weakens the trees by removing the nutrients from the soil. Ecosystem disruptions harm wildlife and reduces the biodiversity. Mm, Impact on human health, respiratory problems, sulfur and that nitrogen contribute to asthma, bronchitis, and that lung diseases. Contaminating drinking water, acid rain can leach toxic metals like mercury and lead into that water sources. Damage of infrastructures, economy, uh, corrosion of buildings, monuments. Acid rain erodes that limestone, marble, and that metal structures, reduce that crop yields, affect that agriculture by lowering that soil quality. Um, Solution of acid rains are reducing emissions, switch to the clean energy, use the renewable energy sources like wind, solars, and hydro. Scrubbers in the power plants, install a flue gas desulfurization systems to remove the sulfur compounds, catalytic converters in vehicles, reduce the nitrogen oxide emissions from cars, government policies and that regulations, mm, emission standards, law, laws to limit industrial sulfur and nitrogen emissions, cap and trade programs encouraging industries to reduce the emissions, public awareness and lifestyle changes, energy conservation, using the energy efficiency appliances, reduce the fossil fuel consumption, reduce car usage, promote the public transport and the cycling and that electric vehicles, use of the limestone, um, where it is limestone treatment, neutralizing that acidic water bodies with that limestone, global efforts to combat that acid rain. mm, Clean Air Act USA, reducing the sulfur and the nitrogen emissions significantly. The international agreements contributes that are working together to reduce the cross border of the pollutions, technology innovations, and developing a green energy solutions and all. Coming to the conclusions, the acid rain is a serious environmental issue that damage ecosystems, human health, and the infrastructure. However, with a strict regulations, cleaner energy sources, and that a public awareness, it is effect its effect can be reduced. In these grammatical representations, how that particular acid rains will be formed, what are the volcanic organic compounds and the nitrogen compounds, up to 2 to 3% contribute by the nature, and what are the volcanic eruptions which can takes place. Volcanic eruptions which can takes place, it can add the lot of carbon dioxide and a lot of sulfur compounds to the environment to form that acidic in nature. Acid rains, volatile organic compounds, sulfurs, nitrogen, heavy metals, which are entered into the atmosphere as a anthropogenic sources by the vehicular emissions, by the industrial pollutions, and these are the most two ways to reach that all the things into the atmosphere. These are the sources of the acid rain formations, and that particular sources can react with the gaseous pollutants in the atmosphere along with the particulate matter in that atmosphere. Both these are can reacted can form that acid that is not a acid, or the uh, nature, the pH nature of that rainwater can be increased up to uh, up to 7, above 7. The particle pollutants in cold water and that participate. Yes, precipitate, and that wet depositions can reach in the can reach the earth as a acid rain. Okay, then coming to that next one, health effects of the pollution, air pollution, headache, vertigo, water pollution can lead to the due to that warmer climates, malaria and dengue will be increased. What are the bacteria and what are the parasites and what are the virus can create the malaria and dengue in human bodies. The temperatures, what are the temperatures in the outside and what are the temperatures in the human body, and these are the favorable conditions for to grow the bacteria and the virus inside the human body. Due to that air pollution, the nerve damage will be happen. The particulate matter and that ozone compounds and the volatile organic compounds, sulfur compounds, and nitrogenous compounds can directly enter into our lungs. It can also affect the cardiovascular illness, respiratory diseases, headache and vertigo, air damage, and that suddenly brain tumors, and what are the eye effect, the ear effect, hair fall will be happen, all the things will happen. That soil, due to that soil contamination, the pesticides can enter into the human body, can also lead the gastrointestinal issues, and that what are that pancreatic cancers, cancer risk will be increases, nausea, skin irritations, and our digestive system will be affected very seriously when that acid content will be high in our digestive systems and all. And then coming to that next one, how that particular acid rains can affect the plants. It can affect the plants from root to shoot system without any doubt. From that root system, it can be weakened. And what are that? Um, rooted vegetables will be there. That is nothing but the potato, carrot, and all. It will be affected very dangerously. And this is the picture of the Taj Mahal. This is the before acid rains. This is the after acid rains and all. Okay, signing off. Okay, today's class is over. In this class, we have completed that acid rains. Mm, what? So up to here, everything is clear. I thought everything is clear. Okay. Signing off. This is Dr. Kavita Yadav Kanchikatla. Thank you. Thank you all.